In this video, we will explore the art of crafting an impactful conclusion that not only completes projects, but also creates room for further exploration and expansion. Wednesday Contemplations Day, and this week I wanted to do a deck that is new for me, that is kind of an odd choice, I think, for what I typically will do. It is the Quantum Human Design Activation Cards deck. It's by Karen Curry Parker. I've been following her for a while and very much enjoying the studies of human design. And I mean, I love a lot of the others, but for some reason I'm really connecting to her and her style and her information. So I bought lots of her books, and I'm working on her solar transit diary last year and this year. So I'm learning about the solar transits, the gene keys, and all things about human design. So it's a technical, complex system that I just find has a lot of answers for me. Now, it's not for everyone, and don't worry about trying to get into it. It bases itself off of many philosophies and wisdom pieces, the I Ching, and the gene keys, as I said, comes off of the I Ching also, but goes even further. Astrology and chakra systems, and it brings them all into something a little more unified and connects the dots, which, you know me, I love it. Carrie Farmer Connections, yeah. Let's connect dots. Let's make sure that what I'm thinking is aligning with other wisdoms, teachings that actually are teaching about peace, love, harmony, health, wealth, happiness, and finding that ability to grow personally as a soul, as a person, ourselves as we mature, and enjoy our journey on earth and in this life, and spread more joy and wisdom among our loved ones and the collective at large. So we have the marker here at the heart of the matter. I've already rolled, and it is taking us up to artistry. Our relationship with artistry is what we're going to be pulling cards on and seeing what we can learn from this quantum human design system. So as we are doing this, I'm going to just call in help and guidance from my guides. And it looks like gate 42, conclusion. For right now, in this time, conclusion, it is in the sacral area. So in our artistry, what conclusion is talking about are the challenge, the mastery, unbalanced expression, and the resiliency keys. So as far as affirmation and further contemplations, let's just take a look. What comes to mind for you? I know that a lot of times I've said the world and myself that I wasn't particularly artistic, but I was creative and I was crafty. So if I saw something, I could a lot of times take inspiration from that and then create something very pleasing for myself and others. But conclusion is here. It's the challenge to learn to bring things to completion, to allow yourself to be led where you need to be to finish things. So in our artistry, sometimes we get in the mix of it, and then we're off to the next and the next and the next, and we have a lot of times as artists struggles with focusing in and completing a project because we're so creative. We always have lots of projects, right? Lots of things that are keeping us going, and we want to do it all. And in your life, even though you may not be an artist per se, how is that showing up in your life? So can you bring something to a conclusion that has been simmering on your stove of projects to finish up or taking up some space, and now is a good time to conclude that, finish it, and move on to the next thing, making space for the next creative endeavor. And the mastery ability to respond to being inserted into opportunities, experiences, and events that you have the wisdom to facilitate and complete. So yeah, a lot of times the shiny object syndrome happens to us also. We want to take a look at all the elements of this philosophy, that piece of wisdom. We want to learn all about it. But to be multitasking too much can actually weaken our overall abilities to master things. So mastery is part of concluding and going as far as you can with something and finding the satisfaction that you've done your best with what you could know right now or you could create right now, and then you close the book on that one and see what you're being led toward next, because that project, that teaching, that mastery is going to go forward with you as a friend alongside you, as a resource, as a further ability, a skill set, a talent, or a networking of who you've learned from, what they know, and then creating your own recipe of life, your own recipe of creations. So if you've ever gone to school for cooking, say you learned how to make a really wonderful dish, and you take that basic information and then you create more, you add your own spices, your own flavorings based on what your preferences are personally, instead of what your teachers are telling you are the rules of what you need to do. Many times we need to conclude that segment of our lives, of school, and then go out and create a life that we love and fill it with things that have meaning for all of our senses, and create more joy, create more fun, more opportunities to bring more people into our lives that serve and give us greater expansion upon what we're able to learn from this experience of being spiritual beings that are infinitely creative, and finding the resources in this finite temporal life that has some kind of limitations. Maybe I can't get the one ingredient, but improvising is part of what chefs do all the time, and they can create amazing, wonderful meals because they really pay attention to the flavors of life. What is bringing that wow factor? Artists, same thing. What brings that pop to the eye that goes, wow, I love the way that looks. It's giving me the sense and the feeling of exactly what I'm after. If it's peacefulness, if it's excitement, if it's a calming sense of harmony, that all these colors and these shapes, they all come together in such a natural way that you've created that for yourself. Interior designers are really good at creating those environments. Those who create businesses, again, they take the people, the resources available, and they understand what people are looking for, so they create for a market that they can sell to, and then keep the engine going, keep the systems, create more of what is popular and filling needs. And it's an artistry of life, and we all have it, even if you don't happen to have gate 42 in your charts. If you're aware of human design, we all have lots of these little gates, and some are open, some are defined, and some are unconsciously designed in our design, but we're not really as conscious of it being a strength. And that's what's fun about the ideas around human design, is that there's so much more to you than what your personality might be aware of. There's a whole other unconscious part of you. And remember, we've talked in the past about the shadows, and sometimes the shadows can be things you're not really wanting to look at or fess up to, but a lot of times there's some good stuff down in the shadows that you just haven't had a light shined on it. So it comes up, and then you're going, oh my goodness, this is great. And this is what we're looking at in human design, is some people are going to be really defined in this ability to be very artistic, but we all have an element of the artistry. And for some of us, we get inspired by our artists, and they help us to create our own lives as they showcase their own artistic and artistry skills. Unbalanced expression of this gate would be pressure, confusion, self-judgment for not being able to get things done, or for not being able to get things started, avoiding or putting off things that need to be completed, creating a backlog of projects that can lead to paralysis and overwhelm, finishing things prematurely due to pressure. So that whole conclusion, is it something that you avoid, or is it something that you try to do too quickly and you haven't really fully explored the mastery of that project or that experience. So your resiliency keys are decisiveness, so knowing what you need to be really focusing on, the courage, what needs to be healed in your life, knowing what is aligned and what needs to be released. And maybe there is a conclusion where these projects or these aspects of our lives, we need to move on. And sometimes it can be a relationship. So artistry would be knowing how to make that conclusion something that still honors the love of our connection with another instead of burning bridges. So concluding and doing it artfully would be something to think about in your journaling. Vitality, what needs to be healed, released, aligned, and brought to my awareness for me to heal this burnout. So if you're burned out and you have this artistic creativity bug, yeah, what would it take to just heal that tendency to keep adding more and more and not finish your projects, not finish the conversations, not finish the real truthful you, who you are, and expressing that fully without any shame, or just knowing who you are and being confident in that is something that the Gate 42 can bring us. Empowerment, what needs to be healed, released, aligned, and brought to my awareness for me to feel powerful in this situation. If you've thought about that, that's a great journaling piece. Now let's look at an affirmation for you. I am gifted at knowing when and how to finish things. I respond to bringing events, experiences, and relationships to conclusion in order to create space for something new and more abundant. I can untangle cosmic entanglements that keep people stuck in old patterns. My ability to realign and complete things helps others create space for transformation and expansion. All right. And then further contemplations are, do I own and value my natural gift for knowing how to bring things to completion? And what things in my life do I need to finish in order to make room for something new? Am I holding on to old circumstances and patterns because I'm afraid to let them go? And do I judge myself for not starting things? How can I learn to be gentler with myself? Those great contemplation pieces. So yes, when you think about your life, so many wonderful opportunities, events, relationships, but to be able to find that way to hone it into something that is offering you the greater expansion instead of being a jack of all trades and a master of none. What could you focus on that brings you such joy and you want to really explore it further? So what could you conclude that would make space for more of what makes you happy? Would be a great thing to contemplate this week. It's a great one for me. I know I've got a lot of projects around my home and I'm going to have to do some journaling and make some decisions, right? All the best to you. Thanks for all the comments. I'd love to know how it's going for you. What would you like to learn next? What would make your life really great right now? And how can you offload what no longer needs to be here in your life and move forward into more of what you do want to bring and focus more into your existence and into your own life that is an art form all its own. Until next time, thank you.